Good morning, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back from vacation. I'm sure before I get this edited and up, a couple of days of our Iceland and Switzerland trip will be live. Check those out if you've already seen them. You know, it's a beautiful trip, but now it is time to get back to work. And today I'm headed to, the better half is sick inside of the house and she does not want to be on camera today. So I'm headed to a project that we closed on the first business day we were back, which was basically a day ago. And meeting one of my guys there, we're gonna start demo on it, show you guys kind of what we purchased, what our plan is for it, and what our plan is for this place after we're done with it. But the first part is going to be get some of this stuff. All of my construction stuff is going to get loaded in there over multiple trips to get to the new project house. So this morning, I'm gonna grab some tools, saws, scaffolding, miscellaneous, get it loaded up, and then I will bring you guys over to the new property, show you what we got going on there. Oh yeah, and I'm supposed to get this thing cleaned up and photographed hopefully today, putting that up for sale. I have another car on order that is due in hopefully middle of next year, and winter's getting close, so I really don't have a need to keep it, so that'll be going up for sale shortly. All right, so getting ready to roll up to the property. It's still almost past the driveway every time I've come here. Well, I've come here like 3 times now because I'm not used to it. This is somewhat of a busy road that it's on, but I think we need to get an actual driveway poured. Maybe we'll do asphalt because the grass is kind of taken over. But this is our little project. Little 1960 ranch on just under 14 acres. And the thing that really made me buy it, it's got a barn. So when I jump out of the truck, I'll bring you guys back to the barn, show you that. That's the first thing we're working on this project. So yeah, welcome to the first drive up the new driveway. All right, so instead of hiking stuff all the way back to the barn from where we originally parked up in front of the house, I just drove back here. I didn't get as much stuff in the truck as I wanted to. I forgot I needed to bring some ladders out, and once I put the ladders in the bed of the truck, there was no way to get all the scaffolding in, so this was just a small trip of tools and stuff to get my guy started on demo. But this was a horse barn. I'll take you for a walk through it. So they had 4 horse stalls. They had 4 horse stalls on this side. They had another one here. I actually had a guy out here yesterday to do a repair on one of the structural uprights that had rotten out a little bit. So since we don't have horses and I don't have time for horses, we are going to convert this into a regular barn. So we are demoing everything out of the inside. This is all getting ripped out. My concrete guys are going to come a week from Monday and grade this, bring stone in, stone down, pour concrete. Then we've got an electrical sub panel out here already, a couple lights and outlets, but we're gonna have an electrician come out, run a bunch of outlets, put a bunch of lights in here. We're gonna insulate it, finish the inside, put a heater in, and use this for all of the stuff you just saw in my garage at my house, along with storage for miscellaneous and what have you. And then we are going to rehab the inside of this whole house. And so the plan for this property is to move into it either at the end of this year or very beginning of next year. And we're going to list our current house for sale late October, early November. The reason we're making this shift, number one, I've wanted land for a while, and it's just under 14 acres out here. But number two, I bought this at a really good price. It's all original 1960, so everything needs to be updated, gone through. So we've got the opportunity to do a bunch of value add to this property, finishing this, bringing the house to current, and the market is starting to take a little bit of a slide down here, which I'm sure it is in most real estate markets across the country at this point with the lovely Fed rate hikes and all of that. So this property is substantially cheaper than the home we live in now. I would rather get out of the house we're in, we'll make good money on that, and not say the market slides 20%. I would rather not lose 20% of the value of that home. And if the market slides 20% with the value add that we're going to do here, I'll break even, maybe even make a little bit of equity, make a little bit of money on the deal. So just to me, this is solely a financial driven reason for doing this. I'm never emotionally attached to homes. We've only been in the house we're in right now. December will be 2 full years we've been in there, which is actually why we're waiting to list that until a little bit later, because I do not want to close the sale of that house in under 2 years, because as you know, capital gains tax if you do that. So we'll wait, make sure we hit the 2-year mark before we close so I don't get hit with a big, huge tax bill. Moving here, and then kind of feel the market out. We're going to start another new construction project in March of next year as a spec house. And that one, if the market turns around, everything seems good, we might just buy that one for ourselves when it's done. If we break ground in March of 23, we'll have that house done probably in May of 24. And then if we drug our feet selling this while we moved in there. We could hang on to this for 2 years and make that same 2-year mark. We have a tendency to move every 2 years. We lived in one house for 3 years, which was our first house. It's still our favorite because it was our first. So let me take you for a quick, actually, let me show you one thing out here first so you guys can kind of try. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera, but I don't want to trip and fall. So our property line is basically these trees, those trees, and actually you can't see the property line there. It's that field, then there's a whole other field on that side of the trees that's ours. So when I get back up in front of the barn, I'll be able to show you kind of where the property goes. And I'd love to fly my drone over, but I still haven't bought the replacement motor after one of them locked up and came crashing out of the sky and wrecked my drone. And God, I really don't want to spend $1,000 on a new drone. It's just, they're so expensive. And they had this whole area gated off, so this was kind of like their horse pasture, everything behind, and they had a small pasture on the side for them here. And then they baled hay out of that field. I almost want to go buy a quad this weekend just to be able to rip around on here. So the property line is that set of trees out in the background there. And so we're basically road to trees to the far fence line over yonder. One thing I didn't even think about when buying this is the people who lived here had farmed hay on it. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with hay fields? I'm like, I'll just cut them down and, you know, try and get manicured grass on there. And then out of the blue, somebody messaged me and says, hey, I saw the property you bought. I saw it's got hay. I'd like to rent the acreage from you and I'll farm the hay. Made me an offer and I'm like, wait a minute, so you mean I can make a little bit of money and not have to tend to that whole side of the property? Done. So he is going to farm all of the hay from both this field, that field over there, and all this up. That's wetlands. I don't know what type of growth that is, but I know that's wetland growth. There's not enough water there to clean it out and have it be a pond without some serious work. And if this was a house that we were going to live in for many years to come, I would put the work in and we'd make it a pond. But this is unfortunately about a mile from the county line road here, and it's on the wrong side of the county line road. We much prefer to be in the county next door, which is where we live now. Their taxes are more favorable from a property tax standpoint and from a local income tax standpoint. We have no local income tax over here, and over on this side, it's either 1% or 1.5%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up pretty quick. When you're spending a few $1,000s a year extra just for a local income tax that you don't have a mile away, you're getting nothing extra for the money. It just doesn't make sense to me. In the grand scheme of things, it makes sense for a short-term play. Next stop, inside the house to show you what it looks like now. We don't have an exact plan yet. I've got a couple ideas that I'm kicking around that I want to do. I don't know for sure. The tendency to go overboard on stuff, and I'm trying to remember I don't need to go overboard here. It's not a long-term house for us. Make it look nice, use decent products, but I don't need to be bringing imported cabinetry and stuff in like I did on the last project. Yeah, so catch you inside the house and we'll go over some ideas. All right, welcome into the new humble abode. So you'll see that it is definitely 1960s core in here with a little bit of spruce up from probably the 90s with the linoleum flooring in here. Yeah, and this is, I think we should say this. Of course, you got 2 different looks of linoleum. It's awesome. Just real quick, my number one kind of what's currently winning for the plans of what to do with the house is going to be rip that wall out, because I don't want it to be all tight walking in. We're going to rip a large section of this wall out. Pretty much all that wall we'll rip out. We're gonna take the staircase that goes down, we're gonna half wall it, chop it open, put a support column in there. There is load bearing in here, so we'll have to put like LVLs up in the ceiling with a support column there that goes to a support column in the basement. I'm gonna try not to nerd out on the building stuff. As you guys know, I have residential, I do new construction, and I try not to dive deep into construction science and reasons and all this criminy on this channel. I have a page just for building custom stuff. So this is more of a, since this is our personal home, this is our personal project, kind of like investment property. That's why I'm gonna throw it on this channel. And it's not going to be, this is why we're doing this, and this is what materials we're using because of XYZ. It's just gonna be like, this is a brief update, this is where it's at, we chopped this apart, we're throwing some stuff in here. So I just wanted to be more open. And with that, we're gonna open this, push it back a little bit. I've got a cabinet designer coming out tomorrow because we are completely redesigning the kitchen. We're gonna rip all this out. And since this is open, I wanna put a big island in here. And so we'll have all cabinetry on that wall. We'll rip the soffits out. We're gonna do more cabinetry over here. We're gonna open this up a little bit. We can't do too much, but we can get it a little bit more open. And this is a kind of like a bonus space. They added this on years after they originally built it. I don't know the best way to make use of this space, but I definitely want it to flow into the kitchen, make it seem like it belongs, tie it in. And it's just, I don't know, there's great views of the farm out back. I'm not used to looking at anything besides the trees behind my house, and when the trees aren't bloomed, looking at the neighbor's houses behind us. So I don't want to do that. Then, since this will all be open and that's going to be gone, it'll make this room feel so much bigger, because right now it's just like a little compartment. It feels super tight. Get rid of the paneling, probably gonna whitewash the brick. Definitely gonna keep the fireplace. It's a true masonry, top to bottom fireplace. And then down through here where your bedrooms are at. And this house is in great shape for the age. Like, look at these floors. I mean, they're not my style, but talk about pride of ownership of your home when you've lived here since the day it was built. The people who lived here passed away, and they had built this house themselves back, I believe it was the 60s, and they've lived here ever since. So, I mean, they took incredible pride of ownership of their home and their property. It's just, those floors are in amazing shape. Look at these. I mean, they're in better condition than my house, and my house was built in 2014. And the only ones that do have a little bit of wear are the master suite, but I mean, that's to be expected. So the bedrooms are where I'm struggling with what we're going to do. I kind of want to redesign the whole layout on this side of the house, finish the garage, turn it into finished space, and build another garage attached to the house. But again, I kind of don't want to go too crazy overboard, so that we don't know yet. But we do know we're definitely updating everything in here. And the other thing I want to do that is going to be a little bit costly, that I don't know yet if I'm going to do it, is I want to take these ceilings and just rip them out. And I want to do vaulted ceilings up, because we have the room in the attic above us where we could probably raise a center vault here, probably 6 feet up, which would again make the space feel so much bigger with that additional height. But you can talk about adding some cost. It's gonna be a little rough. I gotta kind of figure out, napkin sketch it, get a materials list, get a rough idea what labor is gonna cost me, and see if it makes any sense. So, and we have a full basement below us. There's nothing cool to show you down there, just a basement. One thing that they did do, which is something I do in the custom builds, is this concrete porch out front. So this whole, whoa, come on, there we go. This whole thing here is normally would be filled with sand and you pour concrete over it. They did the same thing I did in the last couple houses we built. They turned that into almost like a vault room down there. So it's a cinder block walls all the way around with a concrete cap on it. That's what I'm talking about. So that's kind of all for today. With this, we're gonna get to work out there and start tearing some stuff apart. I got a couple other things to do, and then I gotta shoot back home and hang out with the better half today. Like I told you guys the get-go this morning, she's not feeling well, and unfortunately it is her birthday, big 39, which means I'm right behind her to be 39 next month. Half an hour. Man, we're getting old. So yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date on what we're doing with this project. We're currently looking for another flip project to purchase to jump into as soon as our guys are freed up from this. We want to get another project going that we can flip, get done this winter, get sold by spring to roll right into our next spec house that we're going to build. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I hope you guys all crush your dreams, and I wish the best for all of you.